52 Traders, episode 50. I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Over the next year, your host, Cam Hawkins, gets inside the minds of 52 of the world's best traders to find out if he has what it takes to become one of them. Join Cam every week on the 52 Traders podcast or at 52traders.com to learn how to trade like the pros. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not investment, trading, or financial advice of any kind. Trading is very risky and could lose you all of your capital. Any comments about historical performance are not an indication of future results.
What's up, traders? Welcome to another episode of 52 Traders, episode number 50, which is halfway to 100 and two off my goal of 52 traders. We will carry on after 52, so don't worry if you think the show's going to end. It's not going to end. Got some great feedback on my little survey the other day, so thank you very much for those guys that filled that in. What else can I tell you? So if you are listening to the show now, can you please drop in a review on iTunes? It'll only take a couple of minutes, or Stitcher Radio, or whatever Android device you're listening on. Really appreciate that. We also have a special offer from our trader Jasen Baker today. If you stick around to the very end of the show, after the credits roll, you will hear and find out what you need to do to take up that offer. For my listeners, an exclusive 52 Traders offer. Okay, so a little bit about Jasen before we get into the interview. So Jasen isn't your average trader. He comes from a technology world and is currently a Google sales engineer who runs a trading website in his spare time geared to individuals who want to trade but want to do it in a way that accommodates a busy working schedule. The love of trading complex technical topics led him to start B12trader.com so he could teach others how to make money in the market without spending all day doing it. So you can watch as he shows you day by day his entire trade journal and a transparency few in the industry provide. So guys, without further ado, let's get into the show and welcome Jasen. Okay, welcome Jasen. Thanks for joining me here on the 52 Traders podcast this week.
Thank you so much, Cam. Appreciate being here.
Okay, so I've mentioned some of your highlights already, and I know that's just a small part of your story. So can you tell listeners a bit more about you personally and what first attracted you to trading?
Exactly. So really it all started when I was a kid. I don't know whether it was a special birthday event or some other event, but I always asked my dad, what was he doing drawing on these shower curtains on the table? And he was actually charting out stocks. He was a carpenter himself. He actually worked in the Alaska bush, worked on the Alaska pipeline, and so he was a big fan of U.S. Steel, and that was the one he would draw out all the time. And one day he actually, instead of a gift, maybe it was a cop-out, I don't know, he actually bought me a couple shares of Williams Electronics stock. And here I am, 5 to 6 years old, like, oh wow, I actually am an owner of a company. And I used to be big into video games. I'd go to local pizza place and arcades, and I would play Williams Electronics games. I think Moon Landing was one of them. So I'd make sure I played a couple extra games on those guys just because I knew that, if companies did well, their stock prices went up. And so it was a really kind of fun bonding moment where I'd go and we'd look at the paper every day to see how many tenths, back when, stocks were traded in fractions, how much it went up over time. And eventually it actually went bankrupt, and we sold off our shares for a loss. But it always kind of stuck with me. He was always trying to find a vehicle that he could break out of that rat race of having to work for a living, possibly make his money work for him, and that kind of stood out ever since. And so, fast forward all the way to near the end of his life. He was pretty sick. We knew the end was near, and I remember talking to him saying, "Hey, you've been trading for quite a while. Is there, do I need to know about all the finances and banking when things happen?" He says, "Yes. In fact, I got to tell you something. Before I passed, I wanted to leave you with some money, right? Because he didn't make a lot in his life. Because I wanted to leave you with $100,000 to help pay for the girls' tuition. They were pretty young then, and just kind of help you out in life." I'm like, "Well, that's great, Dad. I appreciate it." He goes, "Well, problem is I didn't do so well." I said, "I've been doing great with options for the past few months," and he blew up his account. Come to find out that he got to $90,000 and he lost $80,000 just a few months before he passed away. And it's not that I was disappointed in that, but it made me realize his struggle in trying to become better financially. And so I wanted to kind of pick up the flag, and I said, you know what? I'm going to pick up where he left off. And so I'm going to become a really, really good trader. In fact, I did. I became what I feel is I'm a profitable trader, fairly consistent. And so then when I was learning myself, I kept running it by my wife, kind of saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. What do you think of these trades? I eventually ended up teaching her exactly how to trade because I'm explaining myself. And she said, you should probably go ahead and teach other people to do this. That's what you do for a living. So I was like, all right, well, after a few hundred conversations of this, I actually said, all right, maybe I'll give this a shot. And so that's how B12 Trader started. And of course, the name is a little bit unique because it all started when I figured out that I wanted to trade across 12 unique markets. So I would tell people, hey, my name's Jasen Baker. I trade across 12 unique markets. I need a name for my company. And so a lot of people came up with, hey, call it Baker's Dozen, right? Jasen Baker, 12 markets, kind of catchy. I ran it by my wife, and I love her to death because she's always encouraging, but she'll tell me the truth. She goes, that's stupid. Don't do it. That's just ridiculous. And so I shortened it, called it B12 Trader, and here we are today.
And that makes sense. I saw the website the other day, and I was like, how's he got the B12? Where's that come from? But that makes perfect sense now. Hey, one question on that. So have you actually bought any stocks or shares for your own children, given the fact your dad did that for you, to try and get them into the markets, or have you not done that yet?
Actually, I have, but I've done it using my methodology, not the buy and hold approach. And so I was actually teaching my 10-year-old daughter how to trade crude oil. And I still remember one night I said, look, honey, my strategy is very simple. We're looking for these specific patterns. She's like, okay, I think I get it. And then so it happened to be during the day. We were taking a vacation. I said, what do you think? Should we get in? She goes, that looks like exactly what you're telling me. Let's do that. So I threw in $10,000, and not that I was expecting to make that much, but that was enough to make a good overnight profit. We did that. We held on oil, and then as soon as she woke up the next day, she's like, Dad, how do we do in oil? And it was awesome to get that bond. Aside from watching Dora the Explorer or Minecraft or some other childish thing, she was getting into my world. And it so happened we actually made $500 overnight. And I said, all right, well, guess what? We're going to take that money now. We've earned it. Let's go spend it, and why don't we go to the local amusement park, get you a Lego set? Let's do something with our winnings. So I tried to teach her, once you get those gains, don't be afraid to take them off. So yeah, crude oil was our first trade, and now she actually says, wow, can I eventually maybe teach other kids to do that? And I thought this would be great because not only is it good for them to get interested in investing, but it's a new world out there. When we grew up, my dad grew up with a pension. We're not going to have that for our kids. And I'm hoping that maybe we can change this upcoming generation, that you do have to, work for your money, but also make your money work for you. And I'm hoping that's what we can do with this upcoming generation, is teach them how to trade and make their money work for them with the time that they have.
And did she get to keep the rest of the money after you bought the Lego set? I know a Lego set doesn't cost $500.
That's a good. Well, I was looking at Lego Mindstorms. It does get up there because I wanted to kind of get her into robotics. But yeah, I did put that aside in a savings account, so that way we can grow that when the next trading opportunity comes.
Cool. All right, nice story. Right, so for those listening for the first time, we're about to enter the round I like to call the fundamentals, and this is where I'll be asking Jasen to tell us stories that will help make a little bit easier for you to understand what it takes to become a successful trader. So can you give the listeners some insight into your trading, your style, strategy you use, time frame, winning percentages, instruments, those sorts of things? Okay, so that was the first part of the show. Now, to hear the full episode, the best bits, join the family at 52traders.com. They usually go for about 45 minutes to an hour long. And trust me, these shows are great. They give us so much insight. Now, if you want to get there quickly, all you need to do is jump into the show description on your phone, and there's a link taking you directly to 52traders.com, where you can join the family over there and listen to the full episode. Now, in the rest of the show, I cover off what my traders do differently from the rest of us. So what is it that they're doing that we're not doing? What their typical trading day looks like, what they would do if they had a day job now and wanted to trade for a living, their preferred trading strategy, so actually how does it work, what we should be educating ourselves on when we're looking at a price chart, so what indicators we should use, what price levels, what chart patterns, all those sorts of things. Also, we touch on fundamentals as well, so how do we use news to our advantage? Trading psychology, tips, tricks, techniques, we go through those. Exiting trades, managing trades that you've got running, so we talk about their strategies. They give you strategies for exiting and managing trades. Books to read, websites to visit, all the best ones. Something that you should try and master over the next month, the broker and platform they use. And finally, last but not least, they give us a full trading strategy, so something you guys can try out at home on your PC this week in the markets if you wish. Now, to get the full episode, you need to jump onto 52traders.com, join the family. As I said, it usually goes on for 45 minutes to an hour, and there's a link in the show description, so if you're on your phone, just jump on there, tap the link, and it'll take you straight to 52traders.com. Now, if you're thinking about learning to automate any of your trading, hiring a developer, learning to code, that sort of thing, then before you do that, jump onto my other website, automatemytrading.com. So if you're interested in automating some or all of your trading, then jump onto automatemytrading.com and you'll see me over there. For now, to hear the rest of this episode, all you need to do is click on the link in the show description or go to 52traders.com. See you there.